Imagine sitting in a dark room. No windows, no cameras, no internet. And yet, you can see a secret military base on the other side of the world. You can describe its buildings, weapons, and underground tunnels without ever leaving your chair. Sounds impossible, right? But during the Cold War, the CIA believed this was real. So real that they spent millions of dollars trying to turn ordinary people into psychic spies. This is the true story of Project Stargate, the CIA's most bizarre and terrifying experiment. In the 1950s and 60s, the Cold War was at its peak. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a silent battle for global dominance. Nuclear weapons were only part of the war. The real battle was for information. Then, American intelligence received shocking reports. The Soviet Union was researching paranormal powers, telepathy, mind control, and psychic spying. Soviet scientists believed the human mind could be used as a weapon. They believed spies could read thoughts, influence leaders, and spy on secret locations using nothing but their consciousness. The CIA was terrified, because if the Soviets succeeded, they wouldn't need satellites, spies, or drones. They could simply look into America's secrets with their minds. So the CIA made a decision that sounds insane. They decided to fight psychic warfare with psychic warfare. In the early 1970s, the CIA launched a classified program known as Project Stargate. The goal was simple: train people to see distant places using only their minds. This ability was called remote viewing. Participants were placed in isolated rooms. They were given only a set of coordinates, no maps, no photos, no clues. Then they were asked to describe what was located there. They drew sketches of buildings. They described terrain, people, and secret facilities. Scientists from Stanford Research Institute were hired to study the results. And what happened next shocked everyone. Some participants were accurate. Not sometimes. Not vaguely. Disturbingly accurate. One of the most famous remote viewers was Joe McMoneagle, a U.S. Army intelligence officer. He wasn't a mystic. He wasn't a magician. He was a trained military analyst who claimed he could see distant locations with his mind. In one session, he described a top-secret Soviet submarine construction facility. He sketched large structures, cranes, and hidden underground areas. Years later, when U.S. satellites captured images of the location, his drawings matched the facility with shocking detail. In another session, he described a new type of Soviet aircraft before it was publicly known. The CIA was stunned. For over 20 years, remote viewers were used in real intelligence missions. They searched for hidden weapons facilities, kidnapped hostages, underground bunkers, missing aircraft, terrorist training camps. Sometimes they failed, but sometimes they were right. And when they were right, it scared even the scientists. Project Stargate wasn't the only mind experiment. At the same time, the CIA was running MKUltra, one of the most unethical experiments in U.S. history. They tested LSD on soldiers and civilians, hypnosis and psychological torture, sensory deprivation, mind control techniques. Many participants never consented. Some were mentally destroyed. The CIA destroyed thousands of documents to hide the evidence. The human mind had become a battlefield, and people were treated like test subjects. In 1995, the CIA officially shut down Project Stargate. Their final report said remote viewing was unreliable and inconsistent. But here's the disturbing part. They never said it was fake. They never said it was impossible. Some documents remain classified to this day. Many scientists still believe consciousness might not be limited to the brain. Quantum physics suggests reality is far stranger than we think. So maybe the CIA wasn't crazy. Maybe they were just early. So here's the terrifying question. If governments were experimenting with psychic warfare 50 years ago, what secret experiments might exist today?